So hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here at the 2025 Berlinale.
Oh, such a joy.
Yay! So amazing.
Maybe for people who haven't seen Dreamers yet, you can give us a brief intro. What can people expect going into the film?
A brief intro about Dreamers. It is ultimately a story about someone who has had to flee their home for safety, but then finds a new home in an ecosystem of incredible, powerful and formidable women that are actually imprisoned in a way, but find freedom within themselves. And there's love, and there is forgiveness of self, and there is, I guess, an escape plan that is hatched, inspired by her love, the character Issio's love for another character called Farah. I can never do these quick debriefers because I start going in.
And of course, this is such a deeply personal story to Joy. I mean, even though it's not strictly autobiographical, of course, it's, inspired by her experiences. Was that something that was really an appeal to, coming on board with the project? And what that really stood out to you about the script?
I think we both knew Joy personally before coming on board, and I think there is something quite touching about being trusted with such a personal, delicate story. And so day by day, it was really important to me to make sure that I did justice and I held it with care, and I was able to not just tell her story but tell the story of all these people who are treated in such degrading ways when they just want to find stability and shelter and home. So yes, it was an honour, or beyond an honour, to be able to take something so dear to her and bring it to life in the way that she needed it to be brought to life, really.
And I guess because she's had that personal experience, she could put a lot of that into the script. But did you also want to kind of do more of your own research to really understand what the reality is like in these sort of centres, et cetera, what it's like to be stuck in the system?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important, especially because the film itself is not biographical in the sense that it's fully Joy's story. I did a lot of research around the laws and legislations that exist in Nigeria even today, and I was just saying to Connor over there that in 2014, legislation, the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act, was legalized, prescribed, I guess, to the community, the LGBTQ plus community in Nigeria, which means you could be imprisoned by authorities or even your own family members, or serve the death penalty for even public displays of affection. And that's happening like today. So it actually made the work not only present but urgent and necessary. But then the gift that Joy offered us, obviously her name, the joy and love that was also literally in the fibers and nucleus of the film, was an exceptional journey to go on, because she was like, yeah, there is a lot of dark and heavy, scary things, but they find love, that's exceptionally special.
Yeah, because I wonder if in a lot of films that are wanting to throw a spotlight on kind of the horrors of how people are treated when they're stuck in this system and how broken it is, the focus is on the love story. So that's something that kind of maybe flips people's perspectives and allows them a way into these characters and humanizes, something that can often just be seen as, numbers, data, headlines in the news, which is something that seems very special about the film.
The thing is that love, no matter who you are, where you are, how old you are, how you're brought up, what you're struggling with, love is universal. You feel it in so many ways, and I think it's an exceptional way to immediately allow the audience to connect, because you recognise it and you fight for it and you have your opinions about it in and amongst what's happening. And like you said about humanising the people within the story, because you automatically are so invested in them, and not just in their love, but then what's happening to them. You suddenly see the humans, all of the humans inside these stories, and you're angry about it, and you feel the injustice, and you want better for them. And the love is that universal language that suddenly we all have access to who they are and what they're going through and what they want, and you want it too. And it's really special that she did that.
And of course, Issio and Farah are very different characters, and not least because they have really different beliefs about the way to navigate the situation, whether to follow the rules or accept that the rules are never going to work in your favor. How did you approach each of your characters, and did you feel yourself asking, oh, what would I actually believe, in the process of trying to rationalize their behavior?
What's wonderful about working with Joy is that it's quite rare in on screen to get loads of rehearsal time or loads of research and development time. But she gave us a few weeks to really bed into our characters, and she didn't prescribe them onto us. She had an idea of who they were and then wanted to find them with us. So we were able to journey individually and with each other in a lot of the kind of workshops and chats that we had. Really think about who these characters are and who they are in relation to and in reflection to each other, how they change each other, and so because there were some questions that Joy asked me, I'd done my own work, but I hadn't actually had an answer to, which I thought was exceptional, because then I could go back, think about what the answer was, and then it then informed or changed who Farah was and who she was in relation to Isio. And I think that was really important, not to just come and have an idea, because we all change because of the interactions and the connections that we have with each other, and that informed who the characters became and how we then interacted and acted and became these characters together and individually.
Joy gave us some questions as well, so we got to really, like Anne was saying, dig deeper into the different levels of the character and understanding their morality. How do they live their lives, and what is I guess their principles, their philosophies in life. And for Isio, she's very much wanting to be a law-abiding citizen because she understands or believes in polarities, believes in the idea of justice, and then all of a sudden you come into a systemic structure where injustice is actually how society is upheld. I think it shocks her so much that she actually doesn't know how to respond. She's been existing in a fight or flight state in terms of where her body is for so long that it's like as soon as the offering of love is gifted to her via Farah, it's almost too much. She can't quite cope. She doesn't know what to do. And it's interesting because I watched the film. I was like, oh my God, she's so mean to her. She's so mean to Farah. Why is she doing this? But I was like, yeah, it's once your body has existed in a place of heightened stress and you don't know and someone almost kind of like heat to wax, or it just melts you. It's almost like, no, I didn't even know I could feel those things. So it's a gift, and actually a real, it expands your artistry in a way, because you're like, oh, I can play with these complexities. That's going to be fun.
But was it quite intense? I mean, because trying to play someone who is in that state of limbo, there must be this tension, like both physically and emotionally in her body. So, what is it like to play that on set? Did you almost have to kind of take also some time to unwind in between, in between takes kind of thing?
Unwinding in between actually would it will be more of a challenge to come back up, to wind back up. So not necessarily in between the day, but I did a lot of research around what happens when you do exist in a fight or flight, and your parasympathetic nervous system, your nervous systems, they have different places and where you respond. So naturally, her shoulders would have been up there. So sometimes I normally like to work internally, externally, but for Isio, to make sure that her body was actually telling a story along with the facial expression and the text that we have and the relationship, I started to investigate what it means when your nervous system is shot, what it means when you actually have spent most of your time looking at the floor and all of a sudden someone's asking you to look up and look in their eyes. And you, as an artist, you kind of got to you do the research, do the work, and then you kind of got to let it be and let the character be, as opposed to I guess Ronke going, this is how you act sadness or how you act fear. What's your body doing, and why is your body doing that? And there was a lot of the film where she couldn't eat, and I understood that from the point of what where the blood goes when you're in flight or flight. It goes to your muscles in order to prepare you to run or to use your arms. So you don't actually have the blood in your gut. So you feel empty, you feel sick, hungry often. And sometimes it's, I think, for me as an artist, sometimes it's important to know what the difference is, how I exist in my real life and how Isio exists in her life, so that I don't actually treat my loved ones and family members with any wickedness that I carry over. Not that Isio is wicked, I think she's amazing.
And finally, what does it mean to you to have the film here at the Berlinale? And it does feel like this festival is a really good platform for sort of, you know, representing different perspectives and diverse stories. And I think, you know, as Joy said, and you were saying earlier, what in terms of how people feel when they come out of the cinema, actually having that feeling of frustration is probably one of the main things. And although you can't change policies with cinema, you can maybe change people's minds and change the way people view these sorts of issues.
I was thinking about it this morning, about how proud I am of Joy. You know, like, it's not autobiographical, but it is, in essence, the root of it, the genesis of it is her story, you know? And I don't think she ever imagined when she was going through that trauma that we'd be here, or that she'd be able to have agency enough to tell her story, even tell it. So to get through that, to regain a sense of dignity, then to acquire agency, to then tell a story, that in and of itself is extraordinary. And I'm so overwhelmingly proud of her and proud to be part of it. And when we were on that set, that was our base, that was our everything, that was cold. Who would have thought we would be here, you know? And to have this platform is something I'm extremely proud of. And I cannot wait to see what audience think and feel, and to witness the impact that this film will have. I'm so excited for that.
Really, I hope that people come away having explored these feelings of uncomfortability, what it means to be in prison, but then also what it means to find your freedom in that kind of structure. Because in a way, I feel like the film is a parallel or a metaphor for how we imprison ourselves here, and actually unlocking the freedom in our hearts and our minds in order to, like Anne said, which Joy did, which is transcend a traumatic experience into art, so that another person can be there, present, feel it, and also have the bravery, courage to say, I can overcome, I can triumph, you know? It's an honor to be here. This is so special. And it's been snowing all these days, so magical. I'm so honored to be a part of the film, so honored to be here, specifically in Berlin, a part of this film festival. So I can't wait for people to experience this story. And I hope that they feel something. If they don't, I don't mind if they don't enjoy it. I just hope they feel something.
Well, I think they will enjoy it. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me.
Thanks,
Huge congratulations
Sarah.
on the film.
Thanks,
I really enjoyed presenting it here in Berlin. Thanks.
Thank you so much.